You know what? I think we're gonna be friends.
One sec, gotta do one more thing. And unmuted. Mr. Darren, how are you today? Good, sir.
Whoa, whoa.
Whoa, 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 what? Whoa.
I had an echo.
Oh.
I'm good. How are you, man?
Sick. After all of this, I have 102 fever.
Jesus. Did you get the Bill Gates microchip?
Yes. Sponsored by Pfizer. Yes, I did get the microchip. I am now a proud partner of the 5G project.
Oh, how's your reception now?
Actually, really shitty since I got a new phone. I don't know what it is about the new phone, but it's weird. Like, my office is not a 5G area, right? It was a 4G area. But I guess when there's like a window between like the 5G and the 4G, you just get no internet service.
Weird.
So I can make phone calls, I can receive texts, I can't do Pixar messages, and I can't search anything on Google.
Hey.
Yeah, right? So yeah. But other than that, I mean, you could probably hear him a little nasally right now.
Yeah. Word through the grapevine is if you already had COVID, then the side effects of the vaccine are a lot worse.
Oh, well, I don't think I had COVID.
That's the thing. Like me, I lost taste for one meal. Other than that, I was asymptomatic.
All right.
So, but I ain't getting no fucking Bill Gates microchip.
Why not?
What? No. Can't force me to fucking get a vaccine for a flu.
I mean, you were kind of forced to do it for how many years, right?
Yeah, exactly. If I was still in the military, that's different. Why? Because I swore, to abide by that.
You swore to get vaccines twice a year.
Pretty much.
But
guinea pig shot.
the J&J. All right. Well, Alex, I hope that you are not the lucky one in a million. Just want to put that out there, or the unlucky one in a million. That's right. That shit was so stupid. They're like, all right, so we literally have 6 people out of the 6 million that have died from a blood clot that have gotten this thing. We're shutting it down.
So I hate conspiracy theories because they're conspiracy theories. But the one thing that was in the back of my mind, I'm like, as much as I am a fan of Trump, y'all are fucking rushing this shit. And I get that you're rushing it, but normally vaccines usually take like what, 2 to 3 years? It's actually just test and roll out.
I mean, it's really the FDA that just kind of holds it up.
But okay, let's call it 2 to 3 years. They rushed this shit out in less than a year. And my instant thinking is, okay, I'm just going to assume you like crossed your T's and dotted your I's on this, but even when you rush something like that, something's going to be faulty. And I was thinking, what kind of side effects is going to come of this? And as a result, I don't know if it's like people that we know or people reporting it in the news, or it's a combination of the two. But females specifically have not had regular cycles since the vaccine. So that's like, eyebrow raise.
I don't know. I mean, when we started going to school and everything, it was the girls were eating chicken, that hormonal chicken or whatever it was. They give them bigger boobs.
Yeah.
So there was that. I mean,
chicken titties for titties.
Pretty much. Yeah, I look back on that and I'm just like, like if I look at like our yearbook opposed to like a yearbook from like 15 years prior, yeah, the girls we went to school with had much bigger boobs.
Mm-hmm.
Although I did know a couple that got boob jobs before they were 18.
Yeah, boob jobs don't count.
Well, I mean,
no, they don't count.
You can't at that age. You can't really tell.
Maybe I lived a different life.
Yeah, maybe. Um, but yeah, so
The best boob job I have ever known. It's someone we know mutually. Won't throw her name out there, but her and I had hooked up for a little bit. Later, like not during high school. Later on down the road, and I had no idea that she had a boob job.
see, we did not live different lives.
No, that's just it. That's what I led. That's why I led with the best boob job I had ever known. Is when we were hooking up. I had no idea she had ever had a boob job, and I found out maybe a couple years later, that was the case, and she had got it before her and I were hooking up. I was like, damn, I'm impressed. And he's like, yeah, she paid like fucking 10 G's for him, I think.
Well, okay, so the big test is the lay down test. Let's be honest. Because if you lay down and the boobs are still here and not here, like if they're still just there,
if they are the same, like
if they are
visual
defying gravity,
time.
there is science behind them. Let's put it that way, okay?
Pretty much, and it's not chicken titties.
It is not chicken titties at that point.
Hey, RJ, what's up, man?
That was RJ in talk show. Yes, it is our talk show. One of these days, RJ will try to get you in here to spout nonsense.
We just shit on everybody. Is basically what it is.
That's what it is. Like, so I decided to stream to YouTube, or not YouTube, Facebook at the same time. In order to do that, it wants a description. And I was about to say trash talking a trashy world, but I'm like, that might give people the wrong impression.
So RJ says, so what I do to Michael every day, it's pretty much what everybody does to Michael.
Yeah. So I don't know if you saw the Discord message, but I actually got a piece of fiber optic glass stuck in my index finger.
I caught wind of it. Like I saw the Me6 thing, but I didn't open it up or anything. Is that what it was?
It wasn't Me6. It was I literally pinged the entire server, letting them know I wasn't going live. But yeah, so I got a piece of glass like straight into my finger, and every time I tried to click something, it would push it in deeper. So
were you like clicking heads or something? You're like, wow, this hurts.
No, I was coming home from work and I went to scratch my leg and I'm like, ow, and I thought I like had a piece. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. So I run my my hand across. Basically, the way I find out if I have it or not is I run my finger across the back of my hand, and normally you feel something kind of scratchy.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't feel anything, and I'm like, oh, well, that's fucked, because that means that it's either broken inside the skin or it's been pushed deep enough that it's in the skin. So I literally ripped off like the top layer or two of my finger of skin to try to finally find it. So now it's super sore because it's raw, but I don't feel the splinter digging into me anymore.
Well, don't be squeezing any lemons anytime soon.
So I actually work with 99.9% pure alcohol. That's what we use to clean the fibers. And that's the thing, is that I normally use my thumb and my index finger, and when I'm cleaning the fibers, I didn't feel it. So that means that it either broke and was still in there plugging it, or it broke and had a little bit of the skin kind of like regrow or just whatever, just over the top of it. But I did not feel it until I touched something.
Like nicks, scars, scabs, whatever. Rubbing alcohol, I don't feel it. You know, I know how to kind of like tune it out. But any single time I grab like a piece of lemon to like, if I'm cooking something or whatever, oh my God, I'll feel that shit in a heartbeat.
Not much, Mast. How are you doing tonight? Yeah, RJ, it was pretty fucking bad. But then it made me realize that if I played video games professionally, this could be a career-ending disability.
And go to the hospital with a what is it, a GRI, game-related injury?
Yeah, but I mean, literally, it was a lodged foreign object in my finger. But no, I was just thinking about it, I'm like, wow. So I constantly make fun of, granted, I'm jealous as shit of them, but I make fun of the pro gamers. They're like, yeah, he sprained his finger, so he's out for the next, 3 weeks. I'm like, wow, really? Or one of them was like, yeah, so he had to have reconstructive shoulder surgery because of gaming, and I'm like, holy fuck.
Dude, if you're having to have surgery because of gaming, you're doing it wrong.
No, it's because it's the same muscle being used in a not so normal. You only play for like what 45 minutes at a time. So what the fuck would you know?
Yeah, I'm still not buying it. Because there's no active resistance. There's nothing pushing the fucking limb or whatever extremity you're using to play a fucking video game. There's no actual resistance against it. You're almost at a constant state of motion unless you're doing some fucking VR shit. Where it actually requires you to move around or whatever. So no, not buying it.
You know, I've actually had shoulder problems just from the desk that I sit at, just because of my shoulder being slightly elevated.
So one thing I will agree that does exist, and it's called ergonomics. Basically the way you're, and when it comes to the office, I'm anal retentive about ergonomics. Why? Because that actually can create legitimate injuries. One example is my ex. She was a pharmaceutical technician, I think is the title. You remember who she was, and
Oh, sure.
not high school. I sent you the name already, but anyway, she was working one for a while, and she constantly complained about neck problems. And so I was just thinking to myself, did you ever have an accident? Did you have whiplash before? And she's like, no. So I put two and two together. I'm like, I'm gonna pay her a visit for lunch. Lunch as a fucking ruse. And so I went and picked her up. But when I picked her up, I took a look at her desk setup.
Uh-huh.
And sure enough, she was standing upright, but the monitor was right fucking down here.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay. Bought a couple racks to stack the monitor up a little bit. All the neck problems went away. And the same thing happened at the Air Force office, where one of the guys was like kind of hunched over like this.
Mm-hmm.
And the top of a monitor was like way up here. So he was constantly doing that. And he was having neck issues too. So I stacked those monitors and it all went away.
Yeah, for me, it's literally because of just the desk and even just sitting in classrooms for long periods of time. Granted, I already have a screwed up shoulder from using a cane for years. So I've got a bunch of scar tissue in my shoulder just from that. That's actually 20% of my disability is my right shoulder. 30% is my foot, 20% is my shoulder, and 10% for hearing. Because apparently machine guns are loud. Go figure. But
no, really?
But yeah, so but yeah, apparently just the motion of moving, especially when people don't use their entire arm to like move their mouse, when they're just using their wrist, you're still pulling on ligaments, and it's not a normal thing. I was looking up this whole thing, and there are a lot of gamers out there that have had to have like reconstructive shoulder surgery.
I'm not buying it. They're doing something wrong, as far as I'm concerned. Because like even a keyboard and mouse player, where if I'm playing on the computer, I'm upright like this. All right. If I'm playing on the PS5, keyboard and mouse, I'm upright like this. At worst, I'm kind of slouched, but I love and hate chairs that are able to lean back. So mine is always in place. I can't lean back in it.
As he leans back in it.
Fuck you. But then there's the controller. So if you're playing on a controller, and let's say you're sitting upright, the controller is probably going to be between your knees, or you're probably going to hold it up or something like that. I'm sorry, but there's no active resistance against your shoulder. There's no active resistance against your wrist.
Well, I mean, your wrist, that is a very... Thank you, Missa. A controller, I mean, that is not ergonomic at all. That is a very unnatural position to have your hands in.
But again, that's just it. So yeah, maybe nobody has my impeccable posture, but my impeccable posture is just textbook shit. It's not anything out of the ordinary. It's not shit you can't look up. It's basic posture fucking 101.
Darren probably thinks carpal tunnel is another conspiracy theory.
No, that shit's legit. Musicians get them, gamers get them.
Oh, okay, so then why is it that is that you believe in?
Shoulder injury.
Carpal tunnel's not. Carpal tunnel is your hands. But
I know, but you were talking about shoulder.
Yeah. Like I said, I have screwed my shoulder. Like, if I play video games for a long period of time, my shoulder gets fucked.
Yeah, but how'd you screw your shoulder up?
Originally?
Yeah.
Using a cane.
And why'd you need the cane?
Because I shattered my foot.
Bingo. So, and my orthopedist kind of, it was like following the breadcrumb trail. So I hurt my back doing a deadlift wrong. And then I decided to do high incline treadmill for a month. And that took a toll on my knee. Well, I wound up favoring the other leg. And as a result, I had metatarsology on my left foot, Achilles tendonitis on my left foot, plantar fasciitis on my both feet. Why? Because it was a domino effect.
No,
So
I mean, I understand that whole thing.
Right. If you have no injuries, like your body is 100 fucking %, and you're getting a shoulder, like carpal tunnel, I might buy as a gamer. I might buy that. Depending on how you have your fucking controller, whatever. Musicians get the same shit all the time. It's just, especially with basses, not so much guitarists, but basses. The amount of strain that's on the wrist, just on the left hand or whatever hand you fret with, that can lead to carpal tunnel. So controllers, I might understand that. But then again, how are you holding the controller? Are you holding it in such a way where your fucking hands are torqued like this? Well,
it doesn't matter. I mean, none of these positions are a natural position.
Okay, I might give you that, but some have more strain on the wrist than others.
Right. No, it's fine. So some has strain. Now, remember that this is their job. Like, they're doing this shit for 14, 16 hours a day.
Could never do that.
I know, because you'd have shoulder problems. But that's aside from the point.
So why aren't they getting up every 2 hours for like a 10-15 minute break? Why aren't they ensuring that their posture is good to sit for 2 fucking hours at a time? Those are the things that are going over my head. It's kind of like if you're at the gym and you're lifting a weight that you're not capable of lifting, then why the fuck are you going to lift it? To prove a point? All you're going to do is wind up injuring yourself or, accidentally dropping a weight on somebody else.
Okay, well, let's say that lifting that weight is your job, and it is a weight that you've lifted every day, and that's what you do, and you continuously lift that weight for 16 hours a day.
Okay. So
you're going to hurt yourself. It's an overuse of something. No matter how you do it, it's an overuse.
Again, so the same concept applies. If a person in the gym is working out 16 fucking hours a day, and I don't know anybody that works out 16 hours a fucking day.
Thank you, Missa.
There, over time you start to slouch. There's actually an Instagram account dedicated to ergonomics of being a gamer. Bingo, ergonomics. Again, so if someone is requiring surgery for a fucking shoulder for a video game, then ergonomically they are doing it wrong. And same thing applies to the gym. If you are working out 16 hours a day, I don't know any fucking bodybuilder that works out 16 hours a day. That's fucking ridiculous. But anyway, let's say they do. All right. What are they going to do to get to that get through that marathon? They're going to pace themselves. They're going to do resting is the most fucking important thing in the gym. Why? Because you need to give your muscles time to heal. And someone who is very avid at weight training or fitness or whatever, they already know that. And if they're not doing it, then yes, that's when you run into situations like you have, what's it called? It kind of like shock, where you just faint, you run into dehydration, you wind up injuring yourself. All these things happen. Why? Because you didn't take the necessary precautions to go a 16-hour fucking day.
Well, it's not just one day. It's literally every day.
Every day. If you are not taking the necessary precautions to pace yourself and rest and do things with the right form, yeah, you're going to injure yourself.
Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying that every single one of them has this. I'm just saying that it's a thing that has happened. Not every, weightlifter has their, asshole perforated because they lifted a weight up too high or too much weight at one time. But it does happen.
It does happen. And those are those freak incidents where it's like, all right, you push yourself too hard. that's your limit, or maybe 9 times out of 10, more like 8 times out of 10, and RJ would probably agree to this.
Hey, Epsilon.
If you go for a heavy weight in the gym and you wind up injuring yourself, there's a fairly decent chance your form was way fucking off and you did something wrong to get there.
No, like I said, I'm 100% on that. You know, they might be doing something wrong, or there could be an issue there. There could be a pre-existing condition, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You also have to remember that a lot of the pro gamers are Korean. Okay, which means that they have a mandatory 2-year service in the military.
Yep.
So there is that as well.
And that's the one thing I would not discount. And that's why I was kind of asking you. I'm like, okay, what led to your shoulder injury? Okay, what led to your fucking use of the cane? That's the domino effect. So yes, in certain situations or certain forms, yeah, your shoulders are going to wind up hurting.
But even with that,
condition.
it's just insane, like the amount of things, like what could be classified. It's not just video games either. It's a lot of things. Like, so I shattered my foot, right? In a lot of industries, that is not a career-ending thing.
Correct.
In the Army, it is.
Yeah.
If you can't run, you're kind of a broke dick. Like, you're useless.
Which, to me, that's kind of, it is and isn't bullshitty. So it's like, all right, you broke your foot, so you can't run anymore. Cool. You can't run 100 yards because I'm pretty sure nobody does a Mogadishu Mile anymore.
My left foot, I cannot actually do the push off.
Well, what I was getting to was, okay, that doesn't mean you're entirely useless because you have experience in one particular area or maybe a couple particular areas. So then this is where the GS program is of a benefit. So if you wanted to stay in and still be of service, they should have some kind of transition assistance to where you immediately go into a GS position. Yeah, you might be a desk jockey, but at least, you're still in and, doing your part.
So the way the Army works is that if you cannot do one of the cardios in the PT test, which if you can't do the run, there's a walk. Well, I can't do the walk either if I can't do the run with my foot. And the walk's actually even more difficult. I tried doing biking, but same kind of a thing. I can't do it. I mean, if you ever did a bunch of biking, you know that that's kind of a part of your foot, especially when you're going quickly, that you kind of put a lot of pressure on. Like the ball. So basically what it was is all 4 of my smaller toes shifted off of what's called the bridge. Mm-hmm. So basically there's a small piece right here called the keystone, and everything shifted. So I had pins put in there. So basically the middle of my foot, my arch collapsed, and I had pins in my foot for like 6 months.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not that you're entirely useless. It's just one of those things that's kind of a waste. Where in the GS program for decades, people would be hired in, for no fucking reason at all. And this is one of the things that Trump put a stop to back in 2017, I think it was, when he put the hiring freeze. People have been in those positions for decades that were utterly fucking useless, or the people themselves were fucking useless. So why isn't there a transition assistance for, military people that get hurt at any stage of their career to transition to the GS position? So that way they're at least still working for the Army, if not in the fucking uniform. I get that they can't, I get that they can't devote themselves to the front line or anything like that, or wear the uniform. That sucks, but at least it's something.
So the last thing that they have is the swim.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it is an 800-meter swim. That is a long fucking swim.
See, you get me on a track, and I might give you a good quarter to half mile of a sprint before I'm slow as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
But you get me in water, I could do that all day.
So
catching up on chat, Epsilon. Hey Doc, ADLH, hey Check with the Knife, how y'all doing?
I've already responded to him for you.
Oh, okay. Alex, they bring him back Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I saw one episode years ago, and I was like, I just don't get it. Nick Thornton, yeah, you could do intel or be an analyst. Absolutely.
So here was the thing with it is that I was an MP, right? Mm-hmm. My specific unit was a guard unit, which means that they were in charge of facilities. whether it not like the not post MPs, but I'm talking like my unit right now. I don't think it's OPSEC at this point. They're in Gitmo. Okay, they're actually the I think they're doing like Sallyport for Guantanamo Bay right now. Basically, they're checking deliveries, so on and so forth, whatever.
Right.
I don't know what else they're doing. I don't know what camp they're in. I just know that they're in Gitmo doing that. I've talked to everyone that went down there, and I'm like, name one thing that I couldn't have done. They're like, dude, you could have done everything we did down there. We partied. The only thing you probably couldn't have done is outdrink us because you don't drink. And I'm like, okay, fair. But the whole thing is that if you can't do one of those cardio events, it does not matter what else you can do. You cannot promote. You cannot deploy.
Right.
Like, you're just
But
fucked.
I think you're supporting your own statement that has nothing to do with mine. So if you get that fucked in the military wearing the uniform, there should be a transitional point with a GS spot that allows you to still work for the Army, even though you can't do those things like deploy, promote, blah, blah, blah. You go into the GS side where you're supporting all those roles, likely stateside, and even GS positions can actually deploy. It's different. You're not deploying like you're a fucking mercenary or actually in the military. You're like a GS as a what's it called? A journeyman, doing electrical lines. There are GSs that deploy overseas to assist military bases as far as I think it's combat engineers or civil engineers. They do assist them.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, you broke your fucking foot. Yeah, you might be useless as far as wearing the uniform is concerned, but you're not entirely useless up here. So there should be a transition on the GS side instead of hiring fucks that know nothing about the military.
So there was supposed to be. I was actually in what's called a WTU, a Warrior Transition Unit. It's basically a rehab unit. And they were supposed to rehab and get you ready for another position so that you can go back in. The problem is that there were so many. I got hurt in 2008. All right.
Okay.
So that was basically Afghanistan was like the really big thing going on in 2008, right? I got hurt right before my unit went to Iraq, but the big deployments were Afghanistan at that time. And so there's with so many people that got hurt and got lost in the process that we even got our own like status, and the status was was called legacy. It was called the legacy injury, which basically was given to everyone that fell through the cracks that they forgot about. So I got hurt in 2008. I got out in 2018. So I spent 10 years of service as a broke dick, but as one of the most respected broke dicks. Like, there was this time where we were out in the range, and I'm sitting out there joking with a sergeant major, 3 first sergeants, and a couple of sergeant first class. So, like, 2 or 3 E7s, a few E8s, and an E9. I was an E4. I was a specialist out there joking with these guys because I'd known them for 7 or 8 years.
Right.
There's a reason that an E4 is with these people. You know what I mean?
And one of the things that I was also touting while I was still in is how much it pissed me off that outside companies that know nothing about the fucking military and the government and what it is, what their needs are, can be contracted to build a shit system like DTS, Defense Travel System. All right.
I love that. Check boxes and recheck the box, but you forgot to check the box for the third time on the second page, so it starts you back over again, and then they lose it, or you lose connection.
The purse tempo code that has nothing to do with the actual order.
Oh, I love DTS.
For those playing the home game, Defense Travel System is basically the reimbursement system that military members use when they travel anywhere. In a nutshell, a military member, the government should be able to unplug them here and LA and plug them in over here, Virginia, and at no cost to the military member whatsoever. So there's a system devised, both paper and digital, to facilitate all this. And they decided to contract some outside company. I think it was back in 2008 around that time, where they contracted them to build it, and it was just a fucking trash system. My my thinking is, and I was in a quality assurance course, where I was the quality assurance manager for a while. I went to this course, and that's one of the things I threw at them. I'm like, why is it that the DoD doesn't just come up with an AFSE or an MOS, a job code, across all 5 or 6 branches
Mhm.
that is designed to develop software for the fucking military? And guess what? You can contract out Google U or Apple University or Microsoft fucking cert courses to send them to as the tech school or the AIT or the A school, whatever you want to fucking do, whatever branch it is. Contract them out to facilitate the training, and then have this job code to where all they do is design software in support of military functions. Because at least then they have an idea of what it is the needs are of the military. And you're setting up enlisted and officers for success if they choose to get out.
I only kind of agree with that, only because how many times has high brass completely fucked something, and they've been in the military for fucking 40 years, and they're the ones screwing it up?
That's fine. I'm perfectly okay with this, because you just roll with the punches on that. But at least then there's a far greater understanding, even if it's by 1%, there's a far greater understanding of what the military needs internally than what an outside vendor thinks the government or the military needs. And if you developed software, let's say I asked you, hey, can you develop a financial system for budgeting
Nope.
for the DoD? And you
I
say,
can't.
yeah, sure, I can develop fucking anything. Why? Because it's just code and numbers. Okay, cool. So do you know what an appropriation is? Or an appropriation code? Or a line of accounting, which is the exact same fucking thing.
I've already said no, because I have no idea what you're talking about.
I know, but you get my point, because you have no idea what that need is, whereas internally within the military they do, or they have all the necessary information at their disposal internally to.
And he's gone. He lasted a while, by the way. Yeah, Nick, I know that DTS is absolute trash, but the waterboarding starts. Give me a second.
Yeah, DTS is a garbage fucking program. I think the only DoD system that I ever fucking dealt with, and it's not, it falls under the DoD, but the most efficient system I had ever dealt with while I was in, I want to say, was ARROS, Air Reserve Order Writing System, because I was an admin for the base, and there's only 2 of me, and I had the power to give an 06 rights, or an 07 rights, and I also had the power to take them away. And somebody would dehydrate. That's why. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Oh, got it. Why didn't you leave your mic on for that, man?
It is on.
Oh, all right.
No, so remember how I told you there's been a lot of noise going on out here and everything recently?
Yeah, I kind of didn't notice it the one day you were telling me.
Yeah, so I fixed my mic settings to where I have to talk a little bit louder, but it doesn't pick up a lot of the background noise anymore. So unless it's like that Harley or that car that without a muffler going down the street, you don't really hear it anymore. And yeah, Nick, so little story about that, because this goes straight to Michael. I don't know if you know Michael.
I wish he was watching right now, because it's so great.
I'm sorry, but dude, Michael was an idiot. I've done this the smart way. So Michael had this thing where he was like, yeah, I'll anytime someone gives what the fuck was it, like 300 points, 500 points, something stupid low.
Dirt fucking cheap. He thought he had to pound a water bottle.
He had to pound a water bottle. I'm like, okay, not a problem. And so I wanted to fuck with him. So I donated $4,000. And he's like, Doc, what the hell are you doing?
You better drink up, motherfucker.
And so then Darren, Dom, and a few other people catch on, and they start doing like 4,000 or 5,000 points each also. So we get up to like 32,000 points.
Out of the water.
And he's just like, I can't do this. So he's like, fine, I'm going to make it 8 ounces per. He still couldn't do it because he was still over like 4 gallons. And then he's like, I will take a sip of water. I'm like, y'all fucking bitches. Guys are all
like,
bitches now.
He's like, you're going to kill me.
Whatever.
Like, dude, it's not. It's not our fault that you fucking did not specify in the hydrate channel points redemption that it's just a fucking sip or gulp or whatever. No, it was you that was like, oh, it's a whole bottle of water.
And so I have set it up to where it is a full bottle of water whenever someone redeems it, but it can be redeemed only once per person per stream, only once every 30 minutes, and only 5 times in a stream. Like, dude, I'm so much smarter about that thing. I limit myself to 2.5 liters.
That's
which,
like Nick says, that's like basic training at Fort Benning all over again. Fort Hydrate.
Oh my god. Dude, okay, it's not just Benning, by the way. All of them do it. The guys I felt bad for. So Nick, did you have those like 1 liter canteens or like the 2 liter pouch? Did you ever see those, Darren?
Yeah.
Like the overall almost like bandolier type like man purse 2 liter
like
pouch. No, it
like
wasn't a Camelback. It wasn't a Camelback. It was just a single strap, and it was a 2 liter pouch of water.
Oh, no, they didn't. I'm gonna make a wild guess that the JSOCs, Joint Special Operations Command people that were in the pipeline, like combat controllers, PJs, TAC-Ps. I'm gonna make a guess that they wanted everybody uniform. So what I did see was Camelbacks, but
so we ended up getting Camelbacks later on. But it was 2 canteens. You know, the fucking LBV 2 canteens, and yeah, I was in for a while ago, Nick.
I had 2 canteens and a Camelback.
Yeah.
I have a Camelback somewhere up there.
Yeah, I've got like 5 or 6 of the canteens. Dude, I have so much gear still. Like,
Good Halloween costumes.
So, I need to get rid of some stuff, right? So I went back to Santa Sue at one point, and I donated an entire big green duffel full of uniforms.
Nice.
So it was probably like, I'm gonna say like 21 or 22 uniforms.
What you could have done too is you could have gone to the military museum and donated that.
They weren't that old.
Depends. Well, I mean, it just depends on what they had. Like, they didn't. Last I was there, this was before the OCP uniform was official for the Air Force. They had the same camouflage that they had an Army uniform in camis at that time, which is the OCP camouflage, but they did not have an Air Force one. And I thought about it, and I'm like, $200 donation to a museum, yeah, maybe. But I'm like, no, I like that uniform. I'm gonna keep it.
So I actually had like 4 different types of uniforms.
You definitely. So wait, you enlisted what, 2002?
So originally I enlisted in 03, shipped out early 04, was in for 6 months, and and I'm gonna say all of us, because it was like 2/3 of the unit that I was in basic training with had lower body injuries. So Nick, I don't know when you were in, but were you in around 2002, 2003, 04?
If you were 2002 to 2003, I'm willing to bet you started in Woodland, but you eventually went to ACU.
Put it this way: when I first went in, we weren't even wearing a flag yet on the uniforms.
Okay, so that's Woodland.
Yes, that was the BDUs.
Right. Yeah.
2005. Okay, you were probably past it at that point. Did you ever have, or do you ever see the low top Kevlar black boots for the BDUs that they were giving out?
Black boots that you had to shine up nice and pretty?
No, they were not supposed to be shined because they were Gore-Tex and Kevlar.
Dude, so Air Force prior to 2009.
We still had to, but we weren't supposed to.
I think in 2009, the ABU, which is like probably the worst uniform Air Force ever came up with, which is the Tiger Stripe one. Before that, they were in Woodland, and they had to do the black boots as well, but they had to shine them.
So they basically had us in Benning as like the guinea pigs for the new the new uniforms and everything, right? Why not test it on infantry basic training? And so, dude, we had so many lower body injuries, and a lot of us had airborne in our contract. You're automatically like DQ'd from airborne with a lower body injury. Anything that's on that record at that point, without a shit ton of referrals or whatever it is saying that you're good to go. But straight from basic, even if you have it in there, dude, I think like 4 or 5 dudes in every basic made money doing it. But anyway, just think about it. So these boots were super heavy, right? Because they're Gore-Tex with Kevlar toe and heel, and then they're low top. So there was no ankle support, and we were grunts. So torn ACLs. I ended up with a vertical and a lateral fracture in each of my shins. Again, DQ'd from airborne, and they gave us choices of open contract for the rest of the army, fight for a medical discharge, or make it look like an ELS, entry level separation, where basically you look like you washed out, but they put a note in your record letting them know that you didn't actually wash out. But that was the only code there was for it, is the entry level separation. Basically, failure to adapt.
Yeah, so, it's not necessarily failure to adapt.
Well, that's why. But the thing is that's why they put. There was a note in our 201s for because I was able to get back in later on, and they're like, you're showing an ELS under 180 days. What's going on? And then I'm like, well, check iPerms. And they do, and they're like, okay, you have this thing in there. It shows that it was a lower body injury, and it shows that it was a bunch of them during that time period. So,
it's unlucky.
Lucky.
Nick Thornton. I had a high top Gore-Tex boot, not in basic though.
Yeah, it was low top. Oh, dude, they were fucking horrible. Like lower body injuries everywhere.
Yeah.
But so anyway, I ended up going back in later on, and then did this stuff. So, and yes, lucky. I failure for my body to adapt. I am a bitch. I am now just round. I am now.
Yeah, for us, ELS just means you either fucked up enough or you got medically hurt. There's no negative consequence of it.
So the ELS for the Army is just entry-level separation, and it is basically just that you are out of the military without a veteran status because you are under 180 days.
Oh, fun story. So,
story time.
I had a guy that I am processed. This motherfucker, he finished basic training for the Air Force, but washed out of the tech school, and he got discharged for it.
Okay.
Sometime later, he decided to join the Guard.
Okay.
And this was a learning experience for me. Now, I think I was like maybe 3-4 years in, and 3-4 years in the Guard, especially on an admin position, you get like 10 years worth of active duty experience, just because of the exposure to regulations. So I was 3-4 years.
I'm just reading how he typed your name.
Daron.
Daron. Sorry, continue.
Anyway, so this guy comes in and enlists with us, and I'm processing him, and so I'm finance, and I refer this over to the admin people. They come back to me and qualify him for BAH in the initial tech school
because of time and service.
No,
No.
His time in service was less than 90 days.
Hmm.
And so I'm like, how the fuck does this happen? And it's because he finished basic training, ELS'd out, and then transitioned to the guard. And so under the guard, it's just seen as a TDY.
Nice.
So that guy got BAH, BAS, military pay, and per diem.
Wow.
That dude was making money.
So this was actually kind of a funny thing for me. So they put me as an ELS, right? And I got out. Went back in several years later. I redid basic training. Okay, the only thing I didn't do in infantry school was the last March. When I get out of it and I get to my unit, my primary MOS is still infantry. My secondary is now military police.
Okay.
So even on all of my records, my primary MOS is still infantry from 2004 when I had the lower body injuries and got out and went back in later, even though I technically never graduated from AIT. They still gave it to me. And so it was just weird because these guys are, so I got to the unit as a PFC, right? And it's showing that my primary MOS is infantry and my secondary is MP. And they're looking at me and they're like, how bad did you fuck up that you're still an E3 with 2 MOSs like this? And I'm like, I didn't. So
You're like, I got fucked up.
I got fucked. But I keep looking over at your chat for some reason. I don't know why.
Fine. I bounce between both, but I also have 4 monitors running. So
Eventually,
as a matter of fact, I'm probably going to bring back my 5th because now that I'm on the PlayStation, I just miss having like. So right now I have Discord on the top right monitor. I have the other 2 chats on the other 2 monitor. And this one monitor down here on my stream is reserved for anything that we want to watch or review or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But Streamlabs is hidden behind underneath there, and I fucking hate that. I'd rather have all fucking windows accessible without having to swap between them.
So my fix is a laptop.
Yeah.
Granted, that's blurry as hell, but here, me.
Yeah. It's alright though.
Nope, not that one. I want this one. Yeah. So basically I've got Streamlabs just on this entire screen over here. The rest of Discord is hidden. The only thing that I do is I actually pop out our video window and have it over here. And so that's just what I'm doing on, this area. And then Facebook and both of our streams are actually running over here. I just found that it was easier on the computer, especially when we're doing a dual stream, that I'm not trying to recreate my thing 5 times over. Because I would have it in Discord, I'd have it on Streamlabs, and then I would also have it on my stream, your stream, and Facebook. Not to mention if I actually brought up YouTube.
Yeah. I guess we're off of me onto you, or vice versa. So that's my setup.
Hey, it's me.
I have this. Yeah. And then I have this other monitor right here that is now for the PlayStation. But before, when I was playing Call of Duty on the computer, that 5th monitor was active, and that's where I would have like Twitch or Streamlabs or whatever running over there. So it's just off to the side. It's that extra space. That my biggest thing is I hate fucking swapping applications. I'd rather have them all open and accessible. Click, click, go, go, go.
Yeah, I just drag them to the sides so that I have, so like the one, the laptop right now, I have your my stream in like one half of it, or I can go back and forth, but I basically just have yours open. And then the other side is the what's it called, just in case, the Facebook.
Yeah, my old office, I worked with the communications department on setting everybody up on 3 monitors. we were more command center than fucking Intel.
I do need to get another monitor. I need to get another 1 or 2 monitors just because.
If money was falling from the sky for me, I'd go 7 monitors. But
Explain.
So I'd still have the quad, the 4 monitors, but then I'd have the 2 rotated off to the side, and then which is really efficient for things like email. And then I would have the 7th monitor as my keyboard, so it'd be a touchscreen. And yeah, if Weapon was on, he'd be like, "You are fucking crazy."
I think you're fucking crazy. I mean, honestly, I was thinking that you were gonna put one on the ceiling, so you could just like lay back in your chair and game from a lying down position.
It's not too terrible an idea, but
I've thought about it, but living in California, I don't put anything above my head anymore.
That's fair enough.
And the girlfriend's like, "Hey, we have all this wall space in the bedroom." I'm like, "No,
No.
no." Remember, so the girlfriend was born December '94. She has no idea. She will only know of the Northridge quake through history books and old fucks like us.
And that's what I keep telling Joe, my roommate. It's like, dude, you have not really experienced an earthquake. In fact, the last earthquake he really experienced, there were 2. One was when we were both on base, and I was in the bathroom taking a shit, and that's when I felt the ground tremble, and I told myself, "Oh, so this is how it ends for me."
Oh, I thought you were like, "Wow, that burrito really hit."
No, no, not that kind of humor. I'm just like, oh, this is how I die.
Like Elvis on the toilet.
The other one was in the theater, and I can't remember what movie we were watching. But it was like 5 of us. It was definitely a Marvel flick. I can't remember which one, but there was like a scene where there was no sound whatsoever. It was like a transition scene. And all of a sudden I felt the ground move as if like the bass was popping. And I'm thinking to myself, but there's no fucking sound. What the hell's happening? And all of a sudden, me and like 3 others who were all in at the time get these texts from Everbridge saying, prepare to fucking go in support of a 6.5 earthquake for I think it was San Bernardino. No.
Oh, you're talking about the one out in like California City.
Yeah.
Fucking out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So we were in the movie theater when that happened. And my buddy who was not in was like getting pissed off that I was checking my phone. I'm like, dude, I may have to go. He's like, for what? And I'm like, there was a 6.5 up north.
People are idiots. Can we just agree that people are fucking stupid?
My buddy's not stupid. He just didn't know.
I don't know, man. I mean, we call each other fucking stupid.
That is where Mandy is from.
Yeah, she's from the middle of fucking nowhere.
The BFE of California?
Yeah. Cal City, California.
Yep.
I forget what other cities are out there. It's like Caliente. Yeah, there's actually a city called Hot.
Yeah.
Something else. I need to go blow my nose because
it's a perfect opportunity for a break. So
guys. I actually have 102 fever right now. I don't think I'm going to work tomorrow.
Nice.
So, honestly, I want to go to work. I like going to work. I like my job, but dude, it just I can't go into customers because they're temperature checking at every single thing.
Are you forced home for like 2 weeks?
No, I don't think so, because I won't show a positive COVID test.
Yeah, but you're showing like sickly symptoms.
So here's the thing. As far as work knows, I'm just taking a couple days off. My boss knows that I have a fever, but it's not going down as a temperature check at work or anything like that, so I'm just not going to work. The thing is, I've already taken, both of the Microsoft chip shots, so I'm not too worried about it. If I happen to be that, the 89th person out of the 89 million people that have gotten the shot that kills over from it, go me. I am that lucky. But,
the same thing I will tell every friend of mine that plays Call of Duty and streams, just don't die.
Yeah, I've been doing a pretty damn good job of that so far. So I used to one more thing, and then I'll go blow my nose. But I have this theory, and you might really like this.
All right.
As far as I know, I'm immortal until I'm proven wrong.
Sure.
You like that, don't you?
That's one of the things that I just laugh at and wave as it passes me by. So,
Wait, I'm the best. What do you mean? What?
I'll be right
COVID
back.
sweet, you're the best. What? Skippy, you're weird. I'll be right back, guys. While I'm gone, I'm gonna play you guys music. Or if Darren's still here, he can play you music. But I don't think he's still here. So it's up to me. Just gotta find the fucking folder now, guys. Give me a sec. This. There it is. I'll be back. And now we just wait for Darren to come back. But that song was actually written and performed by Mr. DLH himself. So yeah, hopefully one of these days he's going to put some lyrics to it also. I think that'd be kind of cool. What do you guys think, though? I think it's a lot of fun. We're going for a Atari's Boys of Summer vibe for it. Oh, I feel like shit. Guys, don't get COVID. I don't even think I have COVID, but you shouldn't get COVID because being sick sucks. Let's see if he remembers to unmute his mic.
You know what's funny? Is I was like, I had it and I was just fine. Oh.
So yes, I just graced everyone with the intro song that you wrote for me. All rights reserved, Darren Lehorn. Trademark. Yes, trademark? Working on trademark? Copyright?
Working at trademark. It is, so that song is not copywritten just yet. But it will be. Lyrics are almost done for it. Once the lyrics are laid down, I think I can't remember if it's the Copyright Office or TuneCore. I think it's the Copyright Office that can only do 4 songs at a time. Which is fine because you get the rights for all 4 independently, but and I have the 4 on the ones that I released, but yeah, so once I build up another 4 and then I'll submit those again. Working on lyrics for yours. It's coming together. I think the way I'm writing it is like in the context of you just shitting on people. It's like, bitch, you don't know what you don't know. And that's actually a line in it.
I'm pretty sure I've used that line on somebody at some point in my life.
Yeah.
Speaking of copyrights and trademarks, hey, Skippy, we could use a lawyer friend.
So correct me if I'm wrong, Lucky, if you have any familiarity with USPTO, but it is bare bones. It is a $250 submission. What I don't know is if it's a $250 submission per category that you want to register, or if you can reserve several categories in one submission, and that one submission is $250. But the moment you bring a lawyer involved, then the price gets jacked up.
He might not even be here anymore.
Wow.
He might have been like, fuck you guys, I'm done. I don't need this kind of negativity in my life.
I mean, yeah, I don't even see him in your chat anymore.
Son of a bitch.
But yeah, that was what I remembered from the USPTO site when I was playing around with it. I still have a login. I just need to submit for the trademark. The only thing is there are 2 things that I would have to trademark. One is Darren Lee Horn, and the other is DLH, because the DLH is a good icon. It's a good branding logo.
It is.
So.
You know what? Even though he's not here, he has been an amazing person and a pivotal part of my life. So
You know what? I think we're gonna be friends.
Nice.
Skippy, even though you're not here anymore, you are now a subscriber. We love you. Where were we?
I think we can broach a new subject. Oh, you hear about the fucking gas line hack on the East Coast?
Okay.
Straight out of Live Free or Die Hard, man.
So, don't you find it funny that's just a couple of months after saying, hey, I'm gonna close down this pipeline by executive order, we have a gas shortage. I am not big on conspiracy theories at all. 9/11 was an inside job. But honestly, I don't even know if it was or not at this point.
All of a sudden, Twitch is like, delete.
Yeah, right? Demonetized for having thoughts?
Demonetized. Fuck that. Delorded.
No, okay, so I don't actually think that Twitch would demonetize or get rid of you for something like that, since they are very much... Say again?
For conspiracy theories, probably not.
They're supposed to. Hi, Mom. How are you doing tonight? 1 sec. As you can tell, Missa's home.
Hi, Missa.
Darren says hi, Missa. Oh, I'm sorry. Darren says hello. Hi, Darren.
But yeah, it's just life is really starting to imitate art, and if you've never seen Live Free or Die Hard, watch it, because that's almost exactly what happened. Just on the gas line portion of it.
There's a lot of things going on right now that, like, there was an article put out by The Onion a little while ago, and it said it was The Onion putting out an article on themselves. Guys, we're going out of business because we can't make up things more than what's already going on in the world. I don't know if you've ever seen The Onion or Babylon Bee or anything like that.
I don't pay attention to the fucking Onion.
They're amazing. Like the satire. Oh, it's so good.
So like the videos, I've seen a couple of them, but as far as their like news, I don't fucking pay attention to. I had a friend that used to work out of DC as a journalist. I haven't spoken to her in years, but that's who I was mostly getting information from. And then people stationed all abroad. That's who I was getting my information from. People that were actually fucking there.
No. The Onion is pure satire. Like, they are duffel blog, but
I shit you not, I've had a coworker come up to me and say, "Oh, did you read what was on The Onion?" I'm like, dude, it's the fucking Onion.
Like, it's supposed to be taken as a joke. And
people take it literally.
Oh, dude, it's to me, it's great when people are that stupid. I have to not use certain words now, because I've heard that you can get canceled for using certain words.
Oh, I'll still fucking say them. They're idiots.
So yeah, I'm trying to actually be better about cussing and all that kind of stuff, because apparently if you cuss at all, your videos drop much lower on the search engines for like YouTube and such.
Maybe that's kind of strange, because that's going in the opposite direction. So just in general entertainment. So you wind the clock back to like what 1930s, 1940s with Gone with the Wind, and damn, being said in the movies was like a huge fucking ordeal.
Mm-hmm.
And 20 some odd years later, that sort of died down, and so damn was being utilized a little bit more. Fast forward another 20 years, damn, ass were being utilized more. And then I actually give South Park a lot of credit for this, but they kind of desensitize the entertainment industry in the use of curse words. So now it's sort of a normalized thing. And more power to them, because I don't think curse words in general, this is just my opinion, but I don't think curse words really have any kind of negative overall impact. Certain curse words, which are no longer curse words at that point, they're pretty much slang, if not defamatory.
Okay.
That's different. But curse words like fuck, shit,
and there goes the video.
There goes the search.
Son of a bitch. No, it's to the
bye bots.
No, it's to the point that even okay, so I watch Ben Shapiro, or I listen to his podcast, right? He will go back and actually, for his podcast, actually edit out anytime he says the word shit.
That's okay.
And he'll censor it because he knows that that's what happens. Same thing with some of the other, especially if it's for, I guess, video games, it's even more so, because you can aim video games at under 18. But you can't actually aim them. You can't actually pick your demographic until after you've been partnered or sponsored or whatever the hell it is, which is really weird.
It depends on what you're talking about. Like if you're talking about video games, no, you're subject to the ESRB, and that pretty much determines your demographic. But in terms of market and sales, ESRB don't mean shit. But in terms of curse words, to this day, even though words like fuck, shit, bitch, damn, ass,
Ah.
just going through the list.
The 7 words you can't say on TV.
And I'm not trying to bring up another fucking subject because I know you'll give me shit, but it does apply. But
Go ahead, bring it up, because I did something. Go ahead and bring it up. Just do it.
Not doing it. Not doing it.
You know
I'm not
what?
gonna give you the pleasure.
It's implied. I don't know if you can see the top left of the chat. I have a counter going now.
All right, well then this one doesn't count, but there was a professional wrestling moment.
There it is. I've already added a number to it.
All right. There are certain instances in this very day and age where words like shit, damn, ass, bitch, fuck, hell, whatever, those are all generally acceptable even in a mainstream basis. However, there is still the old nostalgic way of maintaining professionalism, in a work environment, i.e. in entertainment, podcast, talk show, whatever. All right. So yes, to censor out curse words makes sense when you're trying to reach a broader audience and you're trying to at least maintain the composure of some kind of professionalism. To me, it's a little bit hypocritical. I get it where if I'm going on 95.5 KLOS, or if I'm gonna go on a fucking talk show, right?
Sponsor us, by the way.
I get that I'm gonna have to turn the filter on and speak with a little bit, maybe not so much a more eloquent tone or a more I guess upper echelon choice of vocabulary, but I definitely have to have the filter on. Why? Because those are their rules.
Mm-hmm.
And they have sponsors that they rely on, and they have partnership agreements that they rely on. And in order to rely on them, they have to maintain some kind of etiquette. And that etiquette includes not including curse words. So something like Ben Shapiro having to, censor some of the shit out in order to advertise a 1-minute clip or whatever. Yeah, he's going to have to do that. It's most especially if he has sponsors.
Yeah, and I think Darren's gone. His internet was fighting for a while, guys. But I think it finally gave out on him. It's alright. While we wait for him to come back, another shirt that Missa got me from We Rate Dogs. Tell your dog I said hi. If any of you guys have dogs out there, please let them know that I've said hello. Give them some ear flops and a boop for me. Continue, Darren.
The last thing I said was most especially if he has sponsors.
Yes.
Because then he has to abide by that. That I totally get. To me, it's a little bit hypocritical. It's like, I get that I'm going to have to omit, the curse words, but why change who I am? So the public's either going to be able to accept it or they can't. And yeah, you can set a parameter as a parent to filter out explicit content, but a curse word is not going to exactly make me explicit content. But at the same time, you're talking about, I used to be 13 years old. All right. I knew how to fucking find shit. I was also doing X, Y, and Z at fucking 13, 14 years old. So for the parent to be so naive and to think that, oh, I'm going to protect my child from all the dangers of society or whatever, I'm like, you're giving them a reason to figure it out at the end of the day.
You kind of are. So my parents were really awesome about all of that kind of stuff. They're just like, look, if you and your friends want to drink, come on over, drink here. We know you're safe. Make sure that their parents know that they're going to be doing that also, because it's not like they wanted to, have the cops roll up giving alcohol to minors, blah, blah, blah. I mean, fuck, it was SEMI. They weren't going to do shit anyway. But, speaking of SEMI and those parties, you actually broke the stage that my parents had in the backyard. I don't know if I ever brought that up to you or not, but one of your random, jumps actually broke the 2x4s underneath the stage, and we had to have it replaced twice. Because...
I think I do remember this.
Because somebody decided to do some, punk rock jump shit on a little
Yeah.
fucking pallet stage that we had set up in the backyard.
I mean, hey, when you're jamming out, you got to go.
And I don't think I ever thanked you enough for coming over and doing that stuff with freaking Mark and Zach, because that was just. I mean, come on, how many people had live bands, especially just. Granted,
yeah.
I had a band and a DJ for a lot of that shit, because why not?
We played a couple house parties, and yours was one of them. House parties were, in my opinion, were always more fun because you're more intimate with the crowd and you're more interactive with them. Like when I was playing the Palace, when it was the Palace before they closed it down, there was probably, I think it was like a 4 or 5 foot wide barricade.
Mhm.
And if you've ever been to a show, you know what these barricades are. It's, between that and the stage, and it allows the security to pull people out that are crowd surfing or that need to get out, emergency reasons or whatever. But anyway, I saw that barricade and I'm like, I gotta do it. And I was on a wireless for my guitar. So in the middle of the song, I just fucking launched myself off the stage. And I saw, like, before I launched, I saw that there was like this little platform that the security usually uses to step up to pull people that are crowd surfing out. So I was on stage and I see it, and I'm like, I gotta do it. And so I launched myself off the stage, landed right on that fucking platform, and just wailed on the guitar in fucking front of people. I had to like raise the guitar up as I did it because it was so damn close to the front row that if I had not done that, I easily would have like knocked somebody out with the fucking guitar.
Yeah, I've the only time I ever actually went crowd surfing was at a theater event. It was actually at Thespians Festival down at the Claremont Colleges. And they instantly got on us for it because apparently you're not allowed to crowd surf. You can, apparently hook up at the hotel rooms, but you can't crowd surf. So go ahead.
One of my first major punk rock shows, my sister took me to. I remember it was The Explosion, and I think it's called Gob.
Never heard of either. Go continue.
Golf Oscar Bravo, and great fucking show.
All right.
It was packed as fuck, and me and my sister and like 4 other friends, we were like right front row. You could barely breathe because people were pressing up against you. And my sister, who's a fucking bookworm of all people, all right, she introduced me to this girl. My sister has no street smarts whatsoever, and she's very academic her whole life. And we're at this punk rock show, and we're up front, and I'm like, this is kind of awesome. And my sister turns her head to look behind me, and I'm like, what is behind me that I need to be worried about? And it was a fucking crowd surfer. And all of a sudden I turn around, and this Doc Martin was like headed for my face. And my sister immediately puts her hand up and just fucking shoves it. I'm like, I like this.
You're like, we can be friends.
We're good.
We have a friend actually that went crowd surfing, and she's getting groped and whatever else, and then the shirt gets torn and she loses a boot, and I think she lost her belt, and then got dropped on her head. And I'm just like, that is going to teach you to have faith in the in humanity, because they don't really care.
So it depends on the show that you're going to, and most of those problems end up at metal shows and new metal shows. But most punk rock shows, the crowds, especially the pits, are very adamant about paying attention to the floor, and a lot of the bands are good at it too. Where they will pay attention to the crowd. If they see a fight starting, they'll actually stop and they'll be like, either you two hug and kiss it out, or we're not playing another note until you do, or you leave. And then, but there's also instances where people fall in the middle of the crowd surf. They'll fall to the floor. Most people will actually like push everybody out of the way to make sure they get up.
Yeah, she got up, no problem. I think she ended up actually getting kicked in the face once, but it was only once. So I mean, I guess it could have been worse.
If you're in the pit, sorry, expect to get a fist or elbow or fist to something.
Yeah, I never enjoyed that kind of stuff. I was always one of those people like, I'll just pay for like, yeah, it's a little bit farther back, but I've got a better view, and I don't have to worry about a random fist or elbow flying at my face.
Fun.
So, but that was always nice. Fucking nose. Recheck my temperature. I'm down a little bit, guys. I'm at like a 101.2 now.
That's good. You're dying
So,
less.
I am dying much slower now than I was earlier.
Maybe your reception will improve as your temperature goes down.
What?
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 I said maybe your reception will improve as your temperature goes down.
Oh. No, that is the weirdest thing with the new phones. My boss has the same problem with his iPhone. We're both on Verizon. But it's just we had fine service before. We switched to 5G phones, and all of a sudden, like, we lose service now. And it's just the internet.
It's my dad got a Galaxy S21, something like that, and he has more issues with Wi-Fi than he does with his standard signal. I think it's just related specifically to the phone, but I kept telling him, I'm like, yeah, your phone's gonna be 5G capable. Does that mean 5G's everywhere? No. So, don't expect it.
Going back to the parties, do you remember when the homeless man came into the backyard to party with us?
I'm trying to remember where you lived.
Oh, I mean, I don't even care if people know. It was on the corner of Catherine and Dorothy. It was the big backyard with the gazebo over the stage.
Did the guy have like curly hair?
Fuck, I don't even remember. I just remember him like on the other side of the wall listening to the music, and all of a sudden the dude was in our backyard, like hanging out, partying with a bunch of teenagers. And my mom went back there. Oh, dude, she was about to throw down.
I vaguely remember something like that happening. There was like one or two homeless people that I kind of knew. One of them was kind of a special ed guy. His name is Cameron. Completely harmless guy, but probably not wise to bring around fucking, at least for us at the time, we were teenagers. So.
Yeah, right. Now I do remember hanging out with a bunch of homeless people, and that was actually in the train tunnel. Did you ever go over there and hang out?
Went there once. I was like, I didn't get it. So,
how far into the tunnel did you go?
I didn't actually go in the tunnel because at that time I was like, of all the ways to die, this is not one I prefer.
No Final Destination for you, huh?
No.
So the way the tunnel was laid out is that every 50 yards or so, there's actually a small opening in the side of the wall. Yeah, it was about 5 foot wide by like 3 or 4 foot deep and like 5 foot tall.
Yeah, I did. I saw it and I did hear about it. And Zach and Mark Silvis from Almost Gone would play chicken with the train in those little fucking cubbies.
We used to outrun it. We were stupid for it. But if you went, if you got like halfway through, I think it was a little more than halfway actually, there was a gigantic opening. This thing was probably like, I'm going to say it was the entire height of the tunnel. So from rails to ceiling, the entire height, probably 20 feet long and like 30 feet deep. And it had an outlet. So we actually brought in lights and a boombox and hung out with the homeless people that were in there. One of my friends bought a 3-chambered bong made out of soda bottles, straws, and whatever else the dude could find.
For the record, we don't condone hanging out.
I do not condone
or smoking dope.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
The last one I'll debate a little bit. But
I don't smoke. I smoke hookah, but that's about it.
I smoked pot in high school. I think the last time I smoked it was the day I turned 21. Not the day I turned 21, but when I was 21.
You're like, now it's legal. I don't care. I don't want to.
But I did smoke it must have been like last November. my old roommate Bryce. He's one of my boys. Love him to death.
The idiot, right?
Yeah, he's a 15-year-old boy trapped in a 34-year-old man's problems.
He's a fucking idiot, guys.
He's an idiot, and love him to death, but he's an idiot.
If you're watching this, Bryce, I've never met you, and I think you're an idiot.
He's not watching. He gives Twitch so much shit. He's like, "Why the fuck are people watching? People getting paid for other people watching them play video games. It's just so fucking stupid." And I'm like, "Okay, well, did you remember when Jackass came in theaters? Yeah. What was that movie about? Just doing stupid shit. Yeah, and you paid $20 for a ticket, right? Fuck you."
And that's how you know you've won against this guy. He's a fucking idiot.
That easy. But anyway, he went to a dispensary, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I need something to just I was in a writer's block. I'm still in a writer's block. I need something to unlock it, And he's like, yeah, no problem. He buys a combination of things, but one of the ones he gave me was a pre-rolled joint, basically. And it was very light in its content. All right. However,
until 30 minutes later,
you're supposed to hear it hit it periodically. All right. I fucking hit the thing like a goddamn cigarette. All right. And 30 minutes later, it's the worst trip I ever had, where it was like the room was spinning. I don't know if you've ever been that drunk.
No. I have a drunk story though, but go ahead and finish your pot story first.
If you get drunk enough, the room will start spinning, and that is your indicator that you are going to vomit. It is not a matter of like where you're going to vomit. It is not a matter of how much. It is going to happen. It's just a matter of when. And when the room starts spinning, it's relatively soon. All right. The volcano's gurgling. All right. So that's the feeling that I was getting. And so I'm telling Bryce, hey, man, I'm having a bad trip. He's like, what? He was stoned himself. So I'm trying to make my way to the bathroom. And for whatever reason, I forgot that I had a right foot. And just immediately face planted. All right. When I hit the ground, all right. And when I say face plant, I'm talking like right here is what broke my fall. So, and I got a tiny little scar right here to remember it by. So instantly, I'm like, oh fuck, I hit the ground. And I reach up my hand, I check around, I look, I'm like, oh, there's blood. All right, let's check my nose. No blood there. Okay, let's check my ears. Oh, no blood there. I think we're good. All my teeth are there. Nothing's loose. We might be okay, but I might still have a concussion.
But you wouldn't know anyway because your head's already spinning.
Oh, yeah, my head was still fucking out of control. And so we get on the phone with our EMT friend, and Bryce puts her on the phone. I'm like, Jasmine. I immediately just come to. And she's like, yeah, you just need a couple cold packs, man. You'll be all right. You'll get through this. You're just stoned, man. You're just stoned. Yeah, that was all I needed to realize that I am no longer 21.
Yeah, I realized I wasn't 21 when I hung out with someone that was 21. I'm not 21.
I was hanging out with like 25-year-olds when I was 13, 14. So
yeah, see, most of those people are now on like the FBI's most wanted list, and
one of them is dead. The other one is on the run from jail. So jail and or prison, I can't remember.
Depending on the thing.
Mostly robbery.
I mean, it's just so he took what wasn't his. Yeah. Whatever. I mean, it's exactly what all of the protesters were doing, right?
Right. Well, I mean, they needed, they didn't have a Best Buy rewards card, so that was the next best thing.
They needed to make sure that Nike understood their troubles and.
Fuck Nike. Nike right in the ear.
In the ear, really?
Yeah, in the ear. And I hope it's shoved in that fucking ear canal to where they feel it. Fuck Nike.
Wow. Okay, so apparently Nike has touched you inappropriately over the past couple of years.
No, it was just the whole fucking Colin Kaepernick thing where he denounced the Betsy Ross flag, and so Nike pulled it. I guess they made a shoe with the Betsy Ross flag, and they pulled it for that reason. And I'm like, motherfucker, you don't even know who Betsy Ross is. If y'all want to know who Betsy Ross is, Colin Kaepernick called her a fucking racist, and the Betsy Ross flag racist. Betsy Ross was born to an abolitionist family, a Quaker family, I believe it was. Quakers were abolitionists, which was against slavery.
So, time for my drunk story. So I was
Yeah, go
drunk
for it.
at a party at one point. It was actually at my house.
Now, how
And-
drunk were you?
See, I don't know the different levels of drunk because I've never blacked out drunk.
Okay.
And I've made a point to never black out drunk. I'm one of those people that has to make sure I'm in control of my surroundings, no matter how much I've had to drink. Which is why most people have never seen me drink, purely because I only drink in areas that I'm comfortable. Whether it's with close friends or it's in my own house.
Okay.
Or I have a large group of people around me that I trust. So, like, with the army, I'll go out, like, for my birthday one year, right? I've got a bunch of people around me. I will get absolutely hammered at my birthday because stupid shit happens. I've got, 15, 20 people around me that can help me do whatever I need to. Fine.
Right.
But, I was actually at my house, one of those parties, and, this one of the girls comes in and she's split her head open. So she wasn't drinking actually. She went to go grab something out of her car, and you know how the winds are in Simi.
Yeah.
She went to lean into her car. The wind blew the door shut just enough that she caught the top of her eyebrow right on the corner of her car door. And so I'm probably the most drunk person at the party, and she's refusing to go to the hospital, so here I am cleaning her up as I'm drunk, applying butterfly bandages, still cracking jokes to the people that are walking in and out of the bathroom. Yeah, my mom probably remembers that whole thing. She was like trying to force her to go to the hospital and she refused to go. There was another time, by the way, guys, if you ever have a lot to drink and you have an allergy attack, don't take Benadryl.
Hard lesson learned, I suppose.
So it was for my ex-girlfriend's graduation. All right.
Okay.
And so as soon as the graduation was over, I started drinking with like her family and whatever else. So this is probably 2:30 in the afternoon, right?
Okay.
At like 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm having an allergy attack. Like just sneezing and the throat thing and, the itchy ears. And I'm thinking, whatever, fine. I'll take a Benadryl, right? Well, I've been drinking for 13 hours. And I just decide to like lay down until my allergies are gone. And I get woken up like 14 hours later.
Yeah.
Best drinks I've ever had, though, is the Bacardi Zombie. That's a pre-mixed Bacardi.
Oh God, rum.
Oh,
No.
see, me and Rum are friends.
Me and rum are not friends.
Oh,
Me and tequila are not friends unless it's a like margaritas. I can do sparingly. I can do tequila, soda, 3 limes. I just can't do shots of tequila.
I've never enjoyed shots.
Shots are good. It depends on what it is. So if you're looking to just get there, all right, it really doesn't matter what you're going to drink because it's all going to suck. So for that reason, I go to Jack. All right. It's just going to suck the least. All right. Then you have taking shots for the sake of flavor. Okay. Now you're being sort of what is it, an aficionado?
Aficionado?
Aficionado. Thank you. I was
An Africanado? What?
not Africanado. It's an app, no R.
Wow, racist.
I just print. Whatever. Fuck you.
Okay, so fine. You didn't use the hard R saying it.
I didn't use an R saying it. You added it. Anyway.
Anyway, continue
you
your
don't-
story.
Thank you, Karenza. You don't necessarily need to be a connoisseur of fucking whiskey or vodka or
Mhm.
rum or whatever, but you do need to go through like some of the higher end ones to kind of identify the flavor. And the morning of the Borderline shooting, or I should say the morning after, Joe, him and I were like, "Well, what the fuck we do?" And I'm like, well, "I'm gonna take my happy ass to work. But I'm gonna have a shot first because this day fucking sucks." And he's like, "Come over." And he breaks out a $250 bottle of, I think it's a Glenfiddich 21. Oh my god, most delicious, smoothest whiskey I've ever had. So I don't know if you've had whiskey like Jack Daniels or whatever.
I mean, I've got a couple bottles of Jack. I normally have like Jack and Coke. I like I said, I don't really like shots.
Okay. Even if you were to just like sip a Jack Daniels and you get that like after bite,
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Because it's the cheap shit's just harsh, and that's I think why I don't like shots.
Sure. That's fair to say. This Glenfiddich 21 that I had literally had no after bite.
Okay.
It was a very fucking smooth whiskey. Went down easy, had a great flavor to it. And that's a situation where you start becoming a little bit of a connoisseur of whiskey. One thing in particular that I like is Maker's Mark on the rocks with a little bit of water. If you let it dilute enough, it'll taste like tea.
Affogato, by the way. I don't know if you saw Missa put have a good night, Mom. I'm sorry that the hospital Wi-Fi sucks. But seriously, get some sleep. I hope you're feeling better. It is like 10:30 over there right now.
Mom, Janine.
I will be on again tomorrow night if you can still hear me. I love you, but try to get some sleep. Yeah, she's her last chemo's coming up, and she is having a rough time right now. So hopefully everything works out for her and she's able to end up doing everything that she needs to so she can get that last chemo done. Because once it's done, then she can really start to get better.
Yeah. Just like live out life. And
well, I mean, she lives in fucking Indiana now. What kind of life is there to live in Indiana?
Well, I mean, in general, like, after you get done with chemotherapy, you can at least, enjoy, certain things of life. But for your mom, Janine, what little I can do, we will do a mass cheer.
She has no idea what you're talking about.
That's fine.
But, no, she's great. My cousin actually recently had a kid. And, my mom is she just loves small children. Like, she just loves kids. She was the one that, like, raised most of my cousins and, like, taught most of them how to, like, potty trained a lot of them. Potty trained one of them twice. Because after they went home, her mom put her back in diapers. Yes, Mom, the puppies love you too. My nose is starting to clog up. We're off a topic. I think I'm just going to call it tonight, guys. I feel like shit.
Oh, good, man.
Thank you for coming in and hanging out with me and my stupid snotty ass.
I mean, if you're gonna call it this early, we have time to do a little. We have time to click some heads. So.
Yeah, I guess we can.
Eventually, I'm gonna switch my stream to the nighttime. But I'm not gonna stream that right now. So.
Yeah,
I like the other week I ran into a triple kill for the win.
Well, so, I mean, that was the. I mean, you weren't recording when we were playing, were you? Oh, I guess you were, huh? When it was 4-way free for all at the very end, where the dudes were actually pretty cool and not being assholes. For me, sitting in a bush.
Oh yeah, I was recording that. I don't think I clipped it because it to me wasn't clip worthy.
Wow.
Well, I mean, that's not your fault.
You know what? I am.
Wow.
We are adding like 6 more numbers to this thing.
Fuck you.
Guys, thank you so much again for coming in, hanging out with me. I love you all. Sorry I'm sick and snotty and all that shit, but I will be back tomorrow for some more D3. Come check me out at that point. I should be on probably around 5 o'clock if I'm not feeling like absolute ass. Darren, is there anyone that we should hit up?
Let me see who's on. The only person I see on is Michael.
Damn it, the person I wanted to raid actually logged off.
And I only have one viewer.
It me.
Yeah, I think it's you. Everything else is a bot.
Everything else is a bot.
So
Oh,
I'll
there's
just go ahead
Weapon. Weapon shows up right now. You know what? I'm gonna give Cyber a raid real quick. I haven't raided Cyber in quite a while.
Hey, what's up, Weapon? I don't know if you caught me earlier on my stream, but I was congratulating you on how well your logo for Camel Pig Barbecue was.
Oh,
That's our mutual friend. That's a cop.
Logo. Wanted to talk to you again about that. Haven't talked to you since last week, but yeah,
We are actually done.
but yeah, we are gonna go check out Cyber. She is a cosplayer, used to work with Missa at Guppy, and is an all-around just an absolute sweetheart. She is playing some Valorant right now, so let's go over, give her some love, and yeah, guys, I will talk to you all tomorrow at some point.
Later.
Have a good night.